I saying?
Hey everybody, welcome back. Last week I talked a lot about self-care, but this week I really want to talk about what it means to grow up and be an adult. And I think I've mentioned this before, but the word adulting gets thrown around a lot, and really it's just this kind of like drawn out, hyperbolized fantasy of growing up and having a freer life. It's interesting because as a kid I always thought that when I'm that age it'll be so much easier. So I really today just want to kind of talk about what I think it means to grow up. I'm not that old. I'm in my 20s. I'm in my early 20s, but now's a good time to have this conversation with people who may be my age too. There's just a lot of ideas we have about like when I get older I can do this because I'll be free, or like I can make my own decisions because I don't have to listen to anybody. But really, like, if you're making your own decisions, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that, and your life is in your hands, and that's a lot to actually carry. We tend to minimize that. With that said, growing up to me means more responsibilities and no one necessarily needing to help you. You are given that agency to take care of yourself and to do things for yourself. So there's no automatic like mom will do it. Whoever took care of you, just let them know that you really appreciate that. That said, growing up also means to make important choices for yourself, and choices that might affect you for a long period of your life following that. When I was younger, I thought like, oh, when I get older, I can do everything I want, but like, it's not necessarily the case. And I think that it's really important to recognize that that's actually a hard thing to do and a hard thing to go through. Accountability and responsibility with choice and freedom, they go hand in hand with each other. With more choice, with more freedom comes more accountability and responsibility. And if you are able to remember that those two balance each other out, then you're better able to make the decisions you want to make, live the life that you want to live without necessarily having so many hiccups along the way. And if you do hiccup, just keep going. Like, one thing I've also learned as I've gotten older is that tomorrow's a new day, and as life continues to go on, you can continue to learn from what you've done in the past. So things don't stop with mistakes, things keep going. Growing up has also meant realizing and recognizing my weaknesses, or just things qualities I have that are not strengths, or things that I'm just not good at, like being on time. As I've become more self-aware, I've become more aware of the things that I'm not really good at, and determining whether or not I actually want to work on it, and if it's something that I need to work on, or if it's something I should work on, or if it's something that I can live with being not good at. Being late all the time is something that I should definitely work on, but there are things that are not my strengths that it's okay. I don't have to be good at every single thing, and that's perfectly fine. Something I've also realized with time is that it's okay if you don't know everything. I think I was a little bit of a smarty pants in high school, or just growing up as a kid. I was like a little bit of a smart aleck, and I would want to have the answer for everything, and if I didn't know, I'd make something up just to be like,
yeah, I'm smart. I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Also probably because in my family and with the people around me, I was always touted as the smart kid, and Brigida's really book smart or whatever, and I let that really just define me. And as I got older, I realized that one, yeah, you don't have to know the answer to everything, but two, don't let other people's expectations for you and assumptions about you and just their observations of you define you. You're not one-dimensional. There are so many different parts of you. Explore that. Learn to love yourself and learn to love the different parts of you and the different sides that you have to your personality and your character, because all that adds to your color. It's easy to kind of just get lost in the process and want to please others. Speaking of which, another thing I learned is you don't have to please everybody. There are people who want things of you that aren't good for you. You don't have to do everything for yourself, obviously. Don't be selfish, but also don't be so selfless that you are living for someone else. So I've also learned that it's really important to stand up for yourself. If you don't say something, if you don't speak up, no one will know. You can't expect people to read your mind. You can't expect people to know automatically that something's wrong, but also speak up if somebody's treating you badly. Whether they know it or not, they need to hear that, yo, you've done something wrong, you've hurt me, let's work on this. Or, hey, I can't accept that behavior, can we please not do that, or can we not have to deal with each other anymore? I've also learned that with time, it's been more enjoyable to have some alone time. I think in high school there's this hype about always spending time with your friends, with all your friends, with everybody, but it's really good to have time to yourself and to just kind of be with your closest friends or your closest loved ones, your husband or wife, who if you're married, or your
What am I saying?
Like, okay, anyways, it's really important to cultivate the relationships that matter to you. I think in high school, it's really easy to get bogged down with being popular or with being friends with everybody or being a part of every single clique or group. Not just high school, but in college too. But really just spend the time that is important to you with people who are important to you, including yourself. One thing that I've also learned as I've gotten older is that I don't really dread the call from my mom anymore. It's interesting because when I was a teen, I would pick up because I was scared, because I didn't want to be in trouble for whatever reason, even though really all I did was go to school and then go home. But just in college, I'd be like,
oh, my mom's calling.
But now, if my mom or my dad call, I'm like, oh, my mom's calling or my dad's calling, and I kind of miss them. And just kind of remembering and appreciating the people who really brought me up. That has been a really big change for me as I've gotten older. Growing up has also meant learning to cherish the people who are there for you, especially your friends and family. I think that it's easy to take the people who are around for granted, but it's so important not to. That's something that I'm really working on, to just recognize and to also express my gratitude to the people who are there for me, and to just make sure that they know that I really am appreciative of what they do and who they are, and just spread that positivity around. And I guess lastly, I would say growing up has nothing to do with age. I mean, time helps. Time leads to more experiences naturally, but people are growing up at different paces all the time, and there are folks who have gone through so much in such a small amount of time, and there are folks who are day by day learning more and more. Growing up means something different for everybody, and it's also a different state of mind for everyone. So I guess growing up has meant learning a lot about myself, about relationships with other people, about how to spend my time, and about dealing with all of it. I don't know if it made a lot of sense today. I just really wanted to sit down and talk about what I found growing up to mean, and how adulting is really a myth, and every single day, even as you get older, you're still learning something, and you're still going to be unsure about something, and every decision is going to matter a lot, whether it was the dress you wore on the first day of school in your sophomore year of high school, or the time you choose to sleep before your final when you're a junior in college, or if you want to have kids, and just every single step of the way. Well, thank you for listening to me rant a little bit about all of that, and I hope you stay tuned for more. I have a lot I really want to talk to everybody about. There's just a lot on my mind and a lot I want to share with everyone. If you have found anything interesting about your experiences with growing up or adulting or whatever, please share that down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video, and I hope you stay tuned. I will see you next time. Assalamualaikum.